Hi everyone, myself Ajay Kumar. I welcome to my channel Can Trends. This is our brand channel, and this is for multiple playlists, education, entertainment, gaming, everything. Here you can find multiple playlists where you can watch everything like entertainment plus everything. So today, under education, I'm going to explain AML basics like YAML is a one type of scripting language which used for Azure DevOps pipeline construction, like which is called cicd, like continuous integration, continuous deployment. It's a way of Azure approach, like Microsoft Azure approach. So I'm going to explain today what are the basics to write an YAML pipeline in Azure. So before writing any YAML pipeline, we need some things which are pretty basics. Let's cover those today. So what are the basics? First thing, before writing any pipeline, either it is a build, either it is a deployment, either it is any process in Azure DevOps, the most important, most basic thing is a pool. Let's see what is pool. Before going to know everything, let's see what is pool, the first basic one. So the pool, which is like an, we call it as in Azure, it is an agent pool. So the pool will be called in Azure DevOps or in Azure, which is like an agent pool, which I call. So what do you mean by agent pool? Like agent pool is like a data center, which we call it like a data center. Let me make it large. So we decide we think like agent pool is just like a data center. In background, it's just like a data center for Azure DevOps. So how the Azure DevOps will be consuming this agent pool? So for every agent pool, there will be multiple agents will be there. Just like I said, it's an data center. So every data center will have multiple agents, multiple systems, multiple servers, just like. So let's consider agent pool as one. So we have a one of the agent pool today. So under that agent pool, I'm going to assume there are four type of agents. Just like, let me go with, let's consider this one as a Linux. And this one, let's consider as a Windows. So this is Windows. As I said, this is Windows. So this you can consider as a Mac, and this you can consider as on-prem. So let's make it as a data center. In this data center, we have four pools, for example. So I have a Linux pool, sorry. So it's a Linux pool, Windows pool, Mac, on-prem pool. So what you mean by on-prem is it's a local on-premises. On-prem is like local agent pool, and data center which is connected with every pool. So let's establish a connection to each pool, and of course on-prem and Mac. So in this picture we have four pools, which is Windows, Linux, on-prem, and Mac. Mostly we use Linux and Windows. Mac is an optional one. Rarely we'll get some builds and deployments requests for Mac based on the client requirement. And on-prem is like a we can consider it as a test environment. Like before deploying anything to uh, data center, Linux and Windows, we can test it on a local agents. Like on-prem will have some of the local agents, which I call like. So let's take it as a local. This will be local agent pool. And Mac will have obviously Mac OS, Windows will have Windows OS, Linux will have Linux. So as we consider data center is communicating with on-prem Linux and Windows and Mac, the four agent pools. So every communication is recorded or retrieved from the data center, which is like we'll have like somewhere in the out of country, we'll have most probably data centers mostly. So from there we are connecting our pools from either India, wherever we work on our system, or our organization is established. Based on that, there will be a connectivity established for the agents. So how we will use these things? So I said these are pools, but what it contains, like agent pools, what it contains. Let me go back to fresh page and let's show how agent pool works. So let's consider only one as an example. I have an example of, let's take it as Linux. So let's take it as Linux agent pool, for example. So as I said, it's a pool. What it contains? So every agent pool will contains multiple agents. So let's take it have 4 agents. One more time. So let's make the diagram clearly. Second agent this will be, and this will be my third one, and this will be my fourth one. So, and this I'll call it as agent 1, which is Linux 1. Obviously this will be agent 2, and this will be agent 3, and of course the final one will take it as agent 4. Why we need 4 agents, or why we need a multiple agents with an single agent pool? Why? What's the reason? Because every agent pool is consumed by our CI/CD build and deployment, as I said before. So not every time we'll be having a single build running in an organization. If it is an organization of a large count, we'll have multiple builds running parallelly. So at that time, if a agent pool Linux have only one agent in place for an organization, at that point, if I have couple of builds running, then at that time the next build should be in a queue. So until this agent gets completed the first job, it won't get a free pool and it won't get an agent for the next build. So in that case, based on the estimation of the usage, we will estimate the agents in an organization, how much we can establish. So for example, we have 4 agents. So at a time, we can run 4 jobs, obviously. If there are 5 jobs, the fifth one will be obviously in a queue. So this way the agents will be. And the same way we'll have Windows agents, obviously, and Mac and some other based on the requirement, like Win, Linux, Mac, anything. Obviously, end of the day, it's an agent pool with different OS of agents. What it decides is a Linux agent pool or a Linux agent. It's a OS. Like operating system, if it is a Linux, obviously it's a Linux pool. All the pool of Linux will contains with an agents of OS Linux. So whatever builds which are dependency of OS Linux can be run under this Linux agent pool. So this way the agents will be next. First basic thing is agent pool and agent. Before writing any YAML script for a build or deployment, we need the first step is pool. So let me frame it apart. So let's take a text board here. Let's make a note. The first one we discussed is pool. Obviously, pool contains some agents. So these are the first steps. What next? So the second basic thing is variables. We need to know how to write the variables in an Azure YAML, obviously. That's the major thing. And the next thing we need to know how the stages will work. And what do you mean by jobs? And how many job can we run under jobs? And can we write multi-staging in an YAML or not? Let's focus on these things now, and I'll show you the actual script how we write also on the live multi-staging also. These 5 points let's cover first. Later we can discuss on next things. So I'll keep this node on the screen itself till the completion of call bitter. So pool. Now how we write the actual YAML as a real-time YAML. I can say real-time YAML. So how the pipeline will start? If I say let's make a standardization, like let's put an heading like optionally. I'm writing for an basic CI/CD pipeline. I'll call like this pipeline is like. So hash indicates the commenting code. So whichever you want to make a note in the pipeline, like this line is related to this and this line is related to this. So just make it as a heading. I made it as a hash, and in that way I made it as a basic CI/CD pipeline. So now let's start the pipeline writing. So I'll make it somewhat short. Now, how it starts. As I said, pool is the basic. So let's start with pool. The first step is pool. So pool, how we write is name, and in single quotes, I'll explain this one. Single quotes. Let's write this one first. So for example, I have a, let's make it Linux agents. My pool name, I'll call it as Linux example agent. Why I need the tilde, why I need the name with two space, and why I need the extra space after each key value, and why I kept these into single quotations. So many doubts will be there in two lines of code, everybody, on the first day, if I say. So let's explain these things. So how the YAML syntax is written is as, it will have everything as a mostly key value pair. So you can see the name and the value. So obviously why we made this as a single quotes, because each value pair should be without spaces. If there is no space, you can make it without the columns. It's not mandatory if it doesn't have a space. If you make your pool as Linux agent without any spaces, you don't need columns, single punctuations. If but I said I have my pool as Linux space agents. My pool name is, so I highlighted it as a single quotations to avoid the syntax errors. And why I have two spaces is, just like we have multiple writing scripts like Python, XML, JSON. Everyone have their own syntax. So each line will go with either two spaces or with, it can be written with hyphen. But here the name will be with two spaces. So it indicates my pool. First I written pool with semicolon. So it expecting what is the pool. So obviously I made it as a key value pair. So the pool name will be my pool name as a Linux agent. So obviously it's a Linux pool, end of the day. So this way, how we declare the pool in an YAML pipeline. So let's move to next line. After pool, what's the mandatory things we use in every pipeline? So for that, variables is the mandatory one which every pipeline expects to complete the pipeline. We need some variables every time. So variables we can declare multiple ways. So for that, let me tell you three ways. Let's take it as two ways. How variables are declared in an YAML pipeline. So I'll call it as variables, for example. So variables will be called as two types, just like one is global, obviously, and the second will be at stage or job level variables. What it means? So global is like whenever you write a pipeline, hold the pipeline. Like if I have 100 lines of pipeline, if I declare a global variable, it indicates like any of the line, like 1 to 100 lines, it can get this variable whenever it needed. We can consume that from the global. If I mentioned or declared at the stage level, it indicates only to the particular stage only. And if I declare the variable under the job level, so it indicates under the stage to that particular job only that variable can be consumed during the pipeline run, either runtime variable or compile time variables, anything. So this way, multiple ways we can declare our variables in an YAML. So let's see how we'll write the YAML for variables. So after pool, I'm declaring a global variable. So I'll write like variables colon. So my group will start. As I said, if you have two spaces, obviously without any hyphen we'll write. So now I'll write the variables hyphen group. So why I written a group within a semicolon. So in this case, one more I need to explain is what are the groups and what are the individual variables. In Azure DevOps, obviously it's related to DevOps, not the YAML particularly. How it designed Azure DevOps. In Azure DevOps, we'll declare variables as a part of group, like variable groups will have is one, and variables also we can declare. Like variable groups is like a group of variables by name it states. Like multiple variables can be added or declared in a variable group, and this group can be consumed anywhere. So that each of the variable we can call the directly variable during our pipeline writing. And variables is like one-time variables, which is like with a name value we'll call just like name value. But variable groups is like if you declare the variable groups, under that variable group, if I have 10 variables, you can consume 10 variables at a time by passing the name value. But this name value is just like a variable name value is like hard coding. Everybody knows like hard coding is what, and like direct declaration is what, and getting in runtime is what. Two types of different things are there, which are major things for any code to write in a standardized way. Like two types, just like hard coding, which is not encouraged anywhere in any development platform or deployment platform or any code lifecycle. Runtime variables. Runtime is like declaring in one place with a key value pair and consuming that with the key name, but not representing that as an open variable value name. So we don't need to specify the value. For example, if I have a group, like I'll take it as a group 1. It's my variable group. Under this variable group, I declare two values, like name is the first one and its value is Ajay. And one more thing is my surname, I'll make it as my surname. So these two I have under group 1. So how I'll consume these two values? So in the group name, I will call just group 1. So that all the name, surname, these two values I can consume anywhere in my pipeline. How I'll consume? Let's see. So before that, to consume that, we need some coding to be written. So for that, let's start with stages. Consider I have one stages. In this, I can write how many stages, whichever I want. So stages, I'll start with a build stage, basic. So I'll make it as a build. So you can see, as I said, stages, semicolon I started, but it starts with hyphen stage. It should have a space. So I'm declaring it as a stage build. So the syntax how it writes, just equally parallel to the letter which I have in the stage, it starts a new one, which is jobs. Again with a semicolon. Again with same space, I need to write hyphen job. So obviously job will be, I can call it a CI. CI indicates the build. Same way CI also a build, like continuous integration. So I made it as a job CI. Here, if I declare CI, but I want some other name to be displayed during my runtime, we can do that. Like it is CI build, I have something. So I don't want this CI to be printed. Rather than I need to print something else. So for that we have an option which is in YAML, which is display name. Display name, I'll call it as this one, like I'll consume the both. Like I want this as a CI build. So I'll make this as like this. Yeah, now it is clear. So CI build it is. So now CI build display name. If I run this pipeline after writing some code, let me do that. Obviously, let me unzoom. So I'm writing some code here. So every code will start in a job with steps. Steps, either anything you can write. If it is a Linux, I'm going with bash, simple bash script. I don't write much. Bash will have single liner and multi-liner. If you want like single line, you can start right here itself with space. Echo hello, simple. If I want something like multi-lines to be printed with space, pipe you need to use. And from here you need to start like echo hello, and one more echo I want to do just identical to same line. Echo print my name. So how you will consume these things? Like I said, name and surname. So to get this name and surname, echo hello. I said hello. I should get my name. Hello Ajay, just like example. You need to use variable like this $of. So if you call $of name, During runtime, how it decides my name as Ajay. So first it will check everything. So whenever it come to this line, echo hello dollar of name, it will check what is the dollar of variable there name. So dollar of name is like it will check in a variable group which is assigned to this pipeline. Obviously the variable group global one it will check if there is no job level stage level, it will go global level. In this I mentioned group one as a global variable group. So it will directly go to group one. It will check for this name because I mentioned dollar of. So it's a runtime variable. Dollar of name, I mentioned name as Ajay. So it will obviously collect echo hello space my name as Ajay. During the runtime, after print my name, if I go with one more I want to consume, so dollar of surname also. So when I run this pipeline, obviously what the output you get in the runtime, you will get the output like there will be no echo. So first one it will come like hello Ajay, and next it will come like my name int my name AOSURU. Obviously, this will be your output during runtime for this pipeline. So it's a simple bash script which has shown you. And in this, I explaining till the stage level. So like pool, we have seen variables. What's the need we have seen. How the staging will be, our jobs will be, I have seen. So in this, like variable, stage, jobs, job, we can see. So one more thing I said is multi-staging. Like you guys seen here only single stage, single job. We can write multi-staging and multi-job also. Let me make it small and show you how I can convert this to multi-stages and multi-jobs, obviously. So here I have under jobs, if I declare jobs plural, in this I can write how many jobs I want. It's my need. Like job 2, obviously one more I'll get job 3. So same way, if I want to make it as multi-stage, same to identically to stage build, I can make one more stage, like stage deploy also. And of course, the stage deploy will have multiple jobs identical to that deploy only. Like hyphen job, again steps, and I can start one more bash or something, or any task also. So this way, a single stage job can be converted to multi-stage and multi-job pipeline. So the simple thing is just we need to know before writing the YAML or anything, we need to know the syntax, how it written as declared. So how we know to the syntax is like how the pool can be declared, how the variables can be declared, and how can be declared as global and how can be declared as job level. So as I said, we can declare job level also. Like we can discuss like job here also, we can make one more variables. If you declare here, it will be obviously at job level only. Group A something. If I make it a stage level, all the jobs it will be getting that variables. If I make it as only job level, so only to particular job one only it will be used, but not for job 2 and job 3. So this job 2 and job 3 will not get the group A variables if I have a group in my pipeline. So that way we need to decide based on the requirement, like do the variables are common for each job, like every job I need the same variable, so I need to make it as a global. If I need the identical variables, then it should be declared at stage level or job level based on the job which it expects during the runtime. So this way the basic, I can say the basic YAML can be written. So let's see how the real-time YAML can be written in an ADO. I shown you in the whiteboard. Let's go into the Azure DevOps and see how it works. I'll go to some test environment. Here's my dev.azure.com. I'll go to some sandbox environment, which is test environment, and I'll show you real-time how we write the YAMLs, test pipelines or something. I have obviously a test pipeline. I'll remove this one. I'm starting one more new one. So as I said, I can one more thing is pool No need to mandatory pool to be declared in the same way. We can declare it like this also, like Linux. In my case, it have a pool Linux agents. So after this variables, as I said, I'll make some global variable group. Let me check test here something. As I said, I'll make this as name variable group, and next variables after what we can do is stages. Let's start some stages. Sorry, stages. We'll have some stage. I'll make it as build. As I said, spacing is mandatory based on the syntax. We need to follow how it designed. Hyphen job. Obviously, this will be my CI. As I said, we can make some display names to customize the names. Like I'll make it as CI build. So from here, our things will start. So like steps. So I'll make some bash coding. So hello. So as I don't have this variable group, obviously it will give me an error. Let's see some errors also, not get everything as a success code, obviously. Let's run this pipeline right away. So I'm saving this pipeline. Of course, it's an auto run, automatic run. I didn't made it as manual or something. Until I declare it as manual, Azure DevOps pipeline, mandatory, it's a default automated. No need to run. So it failed. Awesome. Let's see some errors. There was a resource authorization issue. As I said, variable group was not found. Of course, I don't have a variable group test A created in my pipeline. So obviously it will give an error. To make this success, either we need to command this one, but I'll make the variable group created. To create any variable group, you guys need to go to library. So let me create the same name, dummy variable group, which is test A. Let's make some values like name, as I said, Ajay, and I said surname is my surname. So let's save this. Now I have some variable group. Obviously it should work now. So as I said, let's consume this one. Right, whether it will work or not. Dollar name. I'm saving it. Let's see its output now, how it look like. See, as I said, it's an automatic run. So to check the logs or to check something, you need to click on this icon. So obviously you can see it's a new variable group. If you guys seen now only in front of you created. So for the first time, if you use any variable group, it expects some permission. So click on this view. Of course, if you see test a variable group, permission needed, permit. So it will consume that variable group. Let's see whether it will pull the variable my name or not. So bash is completed. Let's check the logs. If you see hello Ajay, from where this Ajay came, as I said, name, the dollar of name. And as I said, the name it will check in the runtime. What is the group in the global level? Because I didn't declare any job level. So it will go to test A under my libraries and it will search for that group, obviously just like this. And it will check in the test A what is the name available in that. So it will print this value of that name, dollar of means. So let's make this as a multi-line script. Simple. Let's make it as pipe, as I said, with space. So spaces, it's mandatory. I don't have option. Echo. Print my. Sorry. Print my surname, which will be my surname, obviously, as a variable, which I declared under this library. If you see, and after that, let's print echo get my full name. So dollar of, let's try this one. surname. It should work obviously. If not work, don't disappoint. We can fix it. Let me save this one and let's see the automated output, how it looks like now. It triggered, and if you can see where you can see the agents it is using. If you see it is using pool premier Linux agents obviously. And if you go to initialize job, which agent it is using, if you see one of the agent it came, and how can I check which is where is this agent? So go to project settings which you are working, and you guys can see there are some categories: general, boards, pipelines. So under pipelines you will have agent pools. Under this we have whichever I'm using, premier Linux agents. Under this, if you see what is the agent name, C2PU 8003, obviously I have this agent. This is what I'm consuming. So let's check the output. Hello, it printed Ajay as I asked it print my name, and second I asked it to print my surname Kosuru. Get my full name is the third, Kosuru Ajay. So obviously it worked. It's just a basic pipeline I shown you guys, and it is working awesome. So this way we'll start the pipelines at basic level. So you want to convert it as a multi-job, multi-stage obviously. I'll make it as a multi-job. So let's create one more job, and let's create cd. Obviously it will have display name cd build. So, and obviously the one more interesting thing is we'll have default things it will show us in ADO. At the first stage, if I type enter, if you see, these all I can use whenever I want. So I won't check those things. So let me go with normally, which I know steps. Let's make one more bash here. Let's print this stage like job. Echo print job 2. This way it have two jobs, and I want one more stage. Under this I want couple of jobs also. Job, obviously it needs tabs, and after that it needs a bash script or something, whichever you want. It's not mandatory to use only bash script. Just I'm using the bash script. Echo as stage 2 job 1, and one more job I want. Use me for these errors. I'll make one more steps here to get my result for next job also. Echo stage 2 job 2. So here I'll make this a stage deploy, and job deploy to, and job obviously deploy to. Let's run this and check how it works. See, if you see it get two stages for me. Under stages, if you see build deploy to. Under jobs I can see four jobs obviously. So stage is how we declared build and deploy to. Let's check. Stage build, stage deploy to. Obviously I got the same thing. If you guys can check this, build and deploy to. That's what I can see here. If I go into build, it has CI build under that bash, and one more CD build under that bash. And next I have one more deploy to. Under that I have a bash script, and one more job I created, it have a bash script. Let's check the outputs. First job, it will do the same work which I shown you before, and second one which I made it as a print job 2. And under stage I have one more bash which is printing stage 2 on job 1 obviously, and next one is printing stage 2 job 2. So irrespective of coding, whatever you want to write inside the job, inside the stages, the syntax should be mandatorily designed by Azure DevOps will be like this only, irrespective of the coding which you did, either bash, either task. You can do multiple things here. You can play with this task, any task you can use. Plenty of tasks we have here. So based on the requirement, we'll write the YAML, but syntax never change. How the syntax works? So let me take this ones out, and let me take this ones out. And display names are optional, obviously. I'll remove these also for your understanding. And I'll make this bash as out. So end of the day, let me show you how it works. Stages comes with two stages. Stage 1, stage 2, which is build and under stage how we write is jobs. Under jobs, we have two job CI, job CD. Under that we have steps, and that way the code continues. If I go to stage 2 again, it have again two jobs and job 1, job 2. So this way the syntax works in the YAML. Most key role is syntax. Until we understand the syntax, we can't write in a proper standardization way of YAML. So hope you guys understood how the basic YAML can be written in an Azure DevOps, and how we can consume the global variables, how we can consume the local variables, and how can we play with multi-stage YAML, and what's the need of agents, what's the need of agent pool, and what it mean by. Hope we covered today clearly. Hope you guys understand everything. If any queries, you guys can post us on comments. Feel free to reach us on comments. Hopefully, respond back to each and every comment based on my knowledge. Hope everything good. Have a great day. Thanks for watching us. Don't forget to subscribe us.